and welcome to the latest episode of the Late Late Show with me, Irish Tommy. Latest installment. A few things to get through tonight. I know you've seen the thumbnail about carrying the can for the situation that we're in. And although there's an image of Moyes on there, I no longer think he's really carrying the can for whatever happens for the rest of this season. And I'll explain why in a little bit. Usual suspect, always in early. Signed any ings, at least we can get a bit more. You sort of Jack Wilshere's old wheelchair. Yeah, look, the Danny Ings thing. I'll be honest, I would take him, but on loan. I wouldn't be paying kind of like 10, 15 million that Villa are kind of talking about to bring him in. I think that would be ridiculous. Like you say, he is a bit injury prone now, Danny Ings. Excuse me. He is a bit injury prone now. Although we have to sign somebody. We've got to sign a striker in January, in my opinion. I think Antonio's finished. I really do. I think Antonio's finished. I don't think he's any good anymore. He comes on, he's just completely ineffective now. We essentially don't really have a backup striker at this point. So we need to get a striker in January who can be a decent backup to Scamacca. If we get Ings on loan, fine. But I certainly don't want to be paying for him. As you say, he's injury prone. He's not getting any younger, but he is a good striker though, and he is a finisher, and he knows where the net is. So I'd be absolutely fine with Ings as a backup. But I'd be hoping we could get someone maybe younger and less injury prone in to back up Scamacca. But it's not going to happen though. So I wouldn't worry about it. Usual. I don't think Moyes has any intention of bringing a striker in January whatsoever. So Ings or anyone else, frankly. It's hard to know if we're going to do any business in January. You know what Moyes is like. He doesn't particularly like doing business in January, so won't be surprised if he doesn't bring anybody in. I think we're desperately in need of fullbacks, especially at left back. I think Cresswell has hit the wall as well, quite frankly. I think he's over the hill now, Cresswell. He's past it, in my opinion. So I don't... we're flogging a dead horse now with Cresswell. He shouldn't still be our first choice left back. He really shouldn't. We've got to sort that position out, I think, most urgently. I think a right back as well is something we're going to have to deal with. Both fullback positions are a weakness. We get hurt down the flanks all the time. Every team we play almost is causing us problems down the sideline because the fullback positions were just too weak. It's a real problem. I mean, we're conceding goals from fucking throw-ins now. Throw-ins leading to goals. It's ridiculous. So we've really got to do something about it. And we also have Alan Dunn, morning here in New South Wales. And hope you're well, Irish Tommy. I am. Thank you very much, Alan. Hope you're well too. It's tomorrow morning, right? So hope you got a good night's sleep. Even fella, Steve is in the house. Usual injury free. He would be a fine signing, but he's prone to long-term. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem with the Ings. It's just too injury prone. Apparently, Villa are not interested in loaning him. That if he's going to go, he's going to go on a transfer, on a permanent transfer. The only thing, Neil from Down Under, as usual, evening, all from rural Australia, 8:35 a.m. Okay, Saturday morning. Yeah, thank you, Neil. Good morning. The only thing is that Ings is a goal scorer. So, the worry would be that he ends up going to back to Southampton or going to Everton and starts scoring goals and starts moving them up the table, which obviously would be bad news for us. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Mr. Bell, we must stop meeting like this. Okay, yes. If we're signing Moyes can put him at right back. Yeah, Moyes does love a square peg in a round hole. Also, guys, I don't normally do it, but I'm going to put the link in the chat here in a second for this show. So if any of you want to pop on, if you've got any views you'd like to get across, or want to have a chat about anything in particular, or you have any questions, put them in the chat for me. But I'll pop the link up shortly, and it'll be there in the chat. And I'll maybe pop it up again later on, just in case any of you want to come in and give your views. So it would be great to hear from you guys, because I always have you lot in the chat, but it'd be lovely to have some of you actually come on and say your piece. So yeah, the main headline of the show tonight is carrying the can. Now, to me, it's no longer on David Moyes' shoulders, as far as I'm concerned. I think that the board had an opportunity, a perfect one, perfect opportunity to change managers when we broke up for the World Cup. It was clear that the wheels had come off, very clear that the wheels had come off, and that was the time to act. It was an opportunity that is very rare, where you have got eventually 6 weeks before your next game. A new manager coming in at that time would have essentially had a pre-season, would have had lots of time to work with the players, get them ready for the Arsenal game when we resumed. And that would have been incredibly helpful for a new manager coming in. And it would have just been a fresh start, and we could have, hit the resumption, hopefully with that bounce, that new manager bounce, which could have turned our season around. Now, the board made the decision at that time to not do that. They decided, instead of doing what they should have done, that they were going to back their man. They were going to get behind Moyes, throw their weight behind him, and say, he's our guy. We believe in him. We think he's going to turn this around. We're sticking with Moyes. Now, that's their decision to make. Okay, you want to make that decision? You can make that decision. But from that moment on, the board are now carrying the can for what happens on the pitch for the rest of the season. Every result now is on the board, as far as I'm concerned. David Moyes is David Moyes. He is what he is. He's going to keep doing what he always does, and potentially put us in a really, really bad spot. And it's hard to keep blaming Moyes now, because he shouldn't be here. He should not still be in that job. So frankly, I'm just kind of getting sick and tired of it. I feel like a broken record. Just every game we're having to say the same things about this situation we're in. It's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And I feel like a parrot. Whereas the truth is, this is just Moyes being Moyes. This is what you get with him. Is anyone surprised that we came back from this break and nothing has changed? Did you really think he was going to flip the script and do something unexpected or different or fresh or new? I didn't. That's why I wanted him gone when we broke for the World Cup. So Moyes is just going to do his thing. He's just going to be Moyes. This is all he knows. So it was the board who decided to put their weight behind him and say, no, he's our man. And so, okay, you want to do that? It's on you now. You're taking responsibility for the results on the pitch. It's as simple as that. And for me now, the board are carrying the can for whatever happens going forward. Whatever happens going forward. And we're going to go through the possibilities for the rest of the season. Okay, I'm going to be bringing a couple of things up on screen here in a minute, because I'm worried. I'm really, really worried about the rest of this season. And, given we're in January, it's kind of hard to believe that we still have one game to play before we're halfway through the season. Wolves is our 19th game. We're currently on 15 points, but we're going to get to that in a minute. Because I'm really, really worried. So I am going to quickly go through the chat before I get to that, because I want to try and keep up with everyone that's in the chat. Just went for a 4 kilometer walk. I think I'm fitter than Antonio and Cresswell both. Yeah, probably are. Ed Elgin, evening, Tommy in chat. Evening, Ed. Will X, I can't get excited for the FA Cup game. Hope Moyes play some youth. Hold that thought, Will, because I'm going to say something in a little while. I'm going to get to tomorrow's game. I have a little bit of a different view, and I'm going to tell you why in a little bit. So come back to me in a while and tell me what you think about what I'm going to say about that. Any striker Moyes is going to struggle. Moyes is the problem. Yeah, I know, but we still kind of have to have one. Because right now, again, essentially, we've got one striker. One striker. Antonio's finished. Yeah, a lot of our players are now past their sell-by date. It's a young man's game. Yeah, this team is too old. We've got to lower the age profile of this team. I mean, our defense is really old. I mean, we've got to get youth and freshness in there and energy, particularly at the fullback positions. Aguerd is a younger centre back, and when Zuma comes back, I think Aguerd and Zuma will be fine. But you can see Cresswell's past it. Sofell's not getting any younger. So we need proper fullbacks. I don't want Noble Sporting Director if he's just as delusional as Moyes. Yeah, I don't think anyone would if he's delusional. We're going to have to wait and see what happens with Noble. With David Gold passing away, Moyes lost a major ally. But from what we've heard from Mark Noble, whenever he's spoken of Moyes, he appears to have gained another one just at the right time. I think Noble is an advocate for David Moyes, which is kind of scary. Because, if he's advocating to the board that no, give him more time, that could be really detrimental to the club. We're becoming a laughing stock. Well, it's not great, is it? It's not great. If he doesn't tell the board to sack Moyes, he's incompetent. Yeah, look, I agree. I think he should be saying, look, we've got to change this. He won't be changing with 2-0 down, and he's changes that everyone remembers, and 2-1 up. I know, it's unbelievable. That we started on that, Paul. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, we're 2-1 up, away from home, Elland Road. Our players' tails are up a little bit. We're in the lead. From 1-0 down, we've come back to take the lead, and it was just what we needed, something like that. So the players would have been kind of growing a bit in confidence. They would have been feeling a bit better about themselves, that they're in the lead, away from home. They're playing quite well, and look like they could really go on and win this thing. And then David Moyes just pulled the fucking rug right from under them. I mean, to take off Scamacca and Paqueta, both having really good games. Both of them had scored. It's like, this is what we need, and then to take them both off. I mean, Jesus Christ, I couldn't believe it. And we've ended up drawing the game. And in the end, we were lucky to draw it. I mean, Antonio cleared one off the line. Rodrigo was in behind, and thankfully he shot straight over Fabianski's head, so he was able to tip it over either side. That was a goal. Obviously, Fabianski made a really good save late, right at the death and injury time. All of that because of Moyes' substitutions, because he decided that he just wanted to defend what we had. It's like, do you not realize the situation we're in? We're desperate for a win. So Leeds are desperate for points. We had them in a position where they were going to have to start taking chances that they didn't want to have to take, which means we can catch them going the other way. We can, get breakaways with 2v2, 3v3, or if you're lucky, 3v2 or something like that. We can catch them going the other way, because at some point they're going to have to start throwing the kitchen sink at it. That's exactly where you want them. So you can punish them for doing things they don't want to do and that are risky. And instead, Moyes decides, we're just going to play it safe here and sit in it. Invited them on, and they were able to come onto us without risk. because we were just happy to defend. It's absolute madness, and it fucking drives me crazy. And in the end, because of Moyes, what may have been a win turned into a fucking lucky point that we were clinging on to. Absolute madness. Usual. It all seems tired and stale. We are marching eyes wide open into the championship. I really hope I'm wrong. It's at the moment it certainly feels that way. At the moment, you're thinking like, is there anybody we can beat in the Premier League right now? Is there any team that we're going to play that we're actually going to beat? And at the moment, it does not look good. I mean, and we'll get to the fixtures in a minute. Because I always enjoy the FA Cup. It's footy after all. Tommy, should it not be who is carrying the can? The board are carrying the can. No, not Moyes, in my opinion. The board are carrying the can now. They made the decision to keep him when they shouldn't have, in my opinion. We were in free fall. Worst team in the Premier League on performances, maybe along with Southampton. And they decided to back him. So it's on their heads now. We should be criticising the board. Moyes is just being Moyes. That's what you're going to get from him. It's pointless flogging the dead horse now. Just keep criticising Moyes because this is just what he does. The board should have got rid of him and they didn't. It's on them now. There surely must be more going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to. There is loyalty and then there's absurdity. Yeah. And you wonder too, really. I mean, I know they talk about you know, we're sticking with him and we believe in him. And I don't know if I even believe that. Do you guys believe that's why? That some great sense of loyalty that the board have? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that's really the reason. I think they just don't want to have to pay him out of his contract if they sack him, and then also pay another manager coming in whatever he wants. And I think they want to avoid having to pay out the rest of David Moyes' contract, if at all possible. So I think they're going to wait and wait and wait until they actually get to kind of like panic stations or like, okay, we just have to do it now because this is really, really serious now, and we're on the brink. I think they're being fucking skinflints, if I'm honest. 20 games to go, so 60 points available. Can anyone see us getting more than 15 points if we don't change things around? Yeah, we're going to go through some fixtures. And let's see what we think the future looks like. Moyes always future rather mature, experienced players. Yeah. Why does he always take the goal scorer? It's bizarre. Utterly bizarre. Like, Skamaka, was he 24? Yeah, you can play 90 minutes, David. He's already scored. You know, what are you doing? As always makes changes, protect the lead, and we lose the lead because of it. Yeah, and the thing is, he never learns. It never dawns on him that it might be a bad idea, no matter how many times it bites him on the arse. It's ridiculous. Sorry, I missed it. Peter, at least in the 20 is one at Everton 2-1, Sawyer and Mubama penalty. Yeah, good result. Good result for the under-21s. And the under-18s are absolutely dominating their league. Dominating. 10 wins out of 10. The second place team are miles back. A big team goes for more goals instead of trying to protect the lead. Yeah. And especially when you've tactically, you've got them where you want them, where they're going to have to start taking risks they don't want to take, and they're going to be vulnerable. You know, you're supposed to take advantage of that, not help them out. Toby Sampson, cheerful in here. Yeah, you're in the wrong place, Toby, if you're expecting us all to be delighted and very happy with what's going on at West Ham, I'm afraid. Noble, I'm afraid, is a company man or relative club business script looking to have another 20 years. Yeah, well, look, I mean, we all have our worries about Noble and how he's going to operate in that role, but I don't want to preempt it too much. I think, out of respect for him and what he's done at the club, I think I'm just gonna maybe I have my suspicions. Let's put it that way, Audi. But I'm just gonna keep my powder dry. Gonna keep my powder dry. Let's just wait and see what happens. Moyes wins matches. That's what he said. Yeah, I win. That's what I do. Okay, piss off, David. If we don't beat Wolves and Everton, could be a while to get to 20 points. Yeah, and like I said, we're going to come to that in a minute. Richard Stevens, Rice is going out of his way to voice his support of Moyes too, which is concerning. It feels like the club is waiting for our luck to change rather than trying to continuously change our luck. Yeah, well, look, I mean, I can understand Rice, right? He's not going to undermine the manager, and I don't think he should. I think publicly Rice has to back him. So I'm not going to blame Rice for throwing his weight behind the manager. At the end of the day, it's his manager, and he probably likes David Moyes a lot as a person. Plus, David Moyes gave him the armband, so he's probably very grateful to Moyes for a lot of things. So, but I think privately, perhaps, I don't know, because I don't know Declan, and I haven't spoken to him, obviously. Maybe privately, players feel a bit different. Well, we know Benrahma wants him fucking gone as soon as possible, don't we? It looks like Moyes has won himself a few more matches. Yeah, that draw, even though I suppose in the end it kept us out of the relegation zone. I don't know. Do you think if we'd have lost, say Fabianski hadn't made that late save, if we'd have lost it 3-2, do you think he would have been sacked? I don't think he would. I think he'd still be in the job. I don't think that the Leeds result was going to be make or break for him. It was criminal that Miswell came on. Yeah, I mean, look, Moyes has always done that. Even like when we were going well and winning games, Moyes was still fucking useless with substitutions or with changing tactics in game. He was terrible at it. Moyes had his eyes tested for a year, which is obvious. Yeah. Moyes is already working for Everton. We'll find out soon. Mandy G, welcome. Hi, Tommy. We're on the verge of a fullback crisis when sitting on a relegation line. Are they going to act to get in 2 players on loan? That's the question. But I mean, I suppose, Mandy, like, could you get in January? Could we get 2 fullbacks on loan who would be of the required standard? I just don't know if we can loan fullbacks in January that would improve us in any significant way. I think we've got to really try to. I think at the very least, Mandy, we've got to find a left back. We might be able to soldier on at right back. We at least have some options at right back. We do have Safal and Johnson, Kerr. I know none of them are brilliant options, but at least there's 3 players there that we can play there. But left back is a shambles, because I think while Safal does offer something and Johnson does offer something, Cresswell doesn't anymore, in my opinion. And I really don't think Emerson offers anything as an orthodox left back. I think Emerson can do something as a wing back. Emerson probably isn't so bad, but not as a left back. So I think we're desperately in need of a left back. And if we can even spend some of the summer budget, whatever it is, now on a left back and at least sort that position out for the second half of the season, I think that would be a huge help, because obviously Aguerd is playing now. He's back. Zuma is very close to a return. I suspect we'll see Zuma against Wolves. He is back training. Obviously, it's too early for him to play tomorrow against Brentford, but I think we'll see him against Wolves. So if we could get a left back in, I mean a proper one, a really good one for the future. I think defensively we'd be looking a lot better. If we've got this new left back, Aguerd, Zuma, and say Sofal at right back for now, I think that would really help. But I'm not holding my breath, Mendy, to be completely honest. I think if we solve the fullback situation, I think it's more likely to be in the summer. Moyes will just tell us we couldn't get the ones we wanted in January. The clubs just weren't willing to release them, and that's all we'll hear about. It's all to do with money, absolutely. Clubs don't want to pay out. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Paul, and they've given themselves away because last week they were talking about, well, first of all, if we were to get rid of Moyes, the kind of manager we'd be looking for would be like David Moyes to get us out of this situation. Absolutely ridiculous statement. And then they also were putting out there through their brown-nosed sources that, well, there's not really much out there, not really many managers out there, that of the required standard that are out of work. That's it. The out of work bit, that tells you everything you need to know about this board. They're not willing to poach a manager. They're not willing to go to identify a manager who they think is the right man for the job and go to that club and say, we want your manager. And we're going to pay you and you're going to give us your manager because we want your manager. Let's say the Celtic manager, right? Our board aren't going to go to Celtic and say, look, we want him. Here's whatever it is, the 10 million, the 15 million. We want your manager because he's the right man for the job. Other teams do it, have no problem doing it. But our board, if they sack Moyes, want to bring someone in who's out of work so they don't have to pay a club for them. So they'll go out in the summer. This is the fucking bizarre part of it. They'll go out in the summer and they'll spend this 180 odd million to try and give us a really good team and squad, but they won't go out and pay another club, whatever it is, 10 million, 15 million for a really good manager to manage a really good squad of players. It's utterly fucking bizarre. It makes no sense whatsoever. You go and identify the manager that you think is the man for the job, whoever that might be, and don't give a shit if he's got a job. Go and take him. Go and get him. We're a Premier League team. Most managers would love to manage in the Premier League, and they would see West Ham as a team that they could really do something with. They would look at our squad and say, you know what? They're definitely in a false position. They should not be down near the bottom of the table. I can go in there and really do something with this squad of players. I can get them up that table into the top 10. I can make Europe with this team. Because managers have egos. They always believe in themselves. So go get the fucking manager that you think is the one. Who cares if he's at a club? That's what cracks me up about our fucking board. They're absolutely useless, and they always have been. Peter, have you done a poll in or out yet, Tommy? I haven't done a poll, and I'm not really planning to because I think the result would be obvious. I think we all already know the vast majority of fans now want David Moyes sacked. I don't think we really need a poll at this point to tell us that. We are at panic stations if you go through the rest of the fixtures. Yep, hang on, Peter. I'm just going to fly through what's left of these chats, and then we're going to get to that. How much will the board lose if relegated? I don't know the numbers, but it's a lot. And considering, you have to consider as well, Lawrence, that we all feel like the board want to sell the club, right? Do they want to be selling a championship club? Because they're going to get a hell of a lot less for a championship club than they are for a Premier League club. And listen, and there's no guarantees whatsoever that if we were to get relegated, that we would come right back up. I mean, if we go down and we're languishing for 2 or 3 seasons down in a championship, they can't sell the club. They're back to square one. They have to wait, first of all, until we get promoted back up to the Premier League. And then they're going to have to re-establish us in the Premier League by rebuilding the squad all over again. Absolute madness that Moyes is still in the job. Moyes has made so many poor decisions throughout the last 12 months. It's just embarrassing. Yeah, it is. And the funny thing is, it's often the same bad decisions over and over and over. We can't hold on to a lead just like David Blanca. Steve, don't think resting players tomorrow is going to make any difference whatsoever to our league form. Don't seem to have the appetite for the fight. Having traits of a sociopath makes it challenging to learn. Yeah, maybe he is. I don't know anything about psychology, so I'll take your word for it, Odie, but who knows? He's definitely fucking stubborn and arrogant, I'll give him that. Mendy, I know Antonio stopped that shot on the line, but did we bring on a striker to put on the goal line when defending? Probably yes. He was brought on for his work rate, Mendy. On Twitter, we're being linked with Firmino. Very good. No chance. Anyone know how many matches 3 relegated teams lost last season? I don't off the top of my head. I'll tell you what, somebody in the chat, go and have a look at the Premier League table from last season, the final Premier League table from last season, and find out how many wins, losses, and draws did the 18th placed team have. If you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. But that's a good. It'd be interesting to find out actually. Two Lampos might improve us. Certainly in the fullback positions, Mendy. Peter, before Wan-Bissaka started playing for Man United, I thought you might get him, but not now. Yeah, he's been playing though, hasn't he? Wan-Bissaka, like recent games, I'm sure I've seen him starting for United. I don't see that happening. Yeah, Johnson should be in for Cresswell and kept there unless we buy a left back. Completely agree, Peter. Absolutely agree with that. Cresswell can't keep starting games. He's just too much of a liability now. Ben has played there a number of times, and some of his best performances for us have come in that position. So couldn't agree more, Peter. Audi, tell me, over the past 2 seasons, I've watched much of our under 18s, under 23s academy football. Why do they play football totally different to Moyes' first team? Makes little sense. Yeah. Excuse me, just wanted to puff. Yeah, this is another thing that annoys me about the club, Audi. There's no cohesion at our club. Like from youth team, whatever it is, under fucking 10s or under 12s, all the way up, there should be cohesion. It should all be linked. It should be, okay, here's how we play football at this club. This is how we play football. Now at West Ham, it's the West Ham way. Let's get it down, pass it around. Good flowing passing football, technical football, which we love to see at West Ham. It should be that from bottom to top. Our first team, our senior team, should be playing the same exact style as our under 10s. And it should be the same all the way through. So once a player who's good enough gets up as far as under 18s or under 21s, at the point where it's felt he's good enough now to be brought into the first team, it should be seamless. It should be absolutely seamless. And we should have an identity as a club in the way that we play football. Other teams do it. They hire managers who fit the mold of how the club identifies. Let's take Brighton, for example, right? Brighton play a certain brand, a certain style of football. It's very good to watch. It's a really nice brand of football, and fair play to them. They play some absolutely lovely stuff, and that's how they like to play. That's how they want to play football. When Graham Potter was poached by Chelsea, they already knew who they wanted to replace him, who likes to play the same style of football that Brighton play and that Potter had set the team up to play. They'd already identified De Zerbi as the man to replace Graham Potter because they knew Graham Potter was going to be poached because he was doing such a good job. His star was on the rise. They knew it. And they already knew De Zerbi is the man for the job because he's a manager who plays the same way. So he's not going to come in and completely overhaul our style of play. He's not going to start getting defensive and putting, 10 men behind the ball and playing counter-attack. He's not going to do that. His style of play already matches what we do. And so the transition from Potter to De Zerbi has been seamless. Brighton have not missed a step. They look like the exact same Brighton. If you didn't know Potter had been replaced, you wouldn't have known from the performances or the way they play or their results. There was absolutely no difference. And that's the problem at our club. There is no cohesion whatsoever at our club. The manager comes in. Look, we can get rid of Moyes. Next manager comes in. Completely different style of play. Completely different style of play. Wants completely different things. And then what happens? He starts looking around at the squad and go, oh, he won't do for the way I play. Oh, he's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go. Because they don't really play the way I want the team to play. And now the new manager wants to rebuild the fucking squad. So we're getting loads of players out and loads of players in until he gets sacked. And then the next manager comes in and wants to do something different. So he doesn't like those 5 starters because they can't really do what he needs them to do. It's madness. We're a badly run club. It's as simple as that. It should be seamless from top to bottom. I bet you, like, the board don't have a clue who they want to get to manage the club if they sack Moyes. That's why they're procrastinating. Scratching their heads. Oh, who's out of a job? Not which manager do we need? Not which manager do we need? Who's out of a job? It's a fucking joke. Alan Dunn, bring Longelo back from his loan spell. Is playing well. He is playing well, and we could bring him back from his loan spell. But he's a youngster, and Moyes ain't interested in youngsters. He's got no chance under Moyes. He'll end up having to leave to get games. When they say so, and we'll be back in a week, it usually means 2 months or longer. Totally agree with Rice supporting Moyes, Tommy, but he blamed the squad, and if he wasn't happy with Moyes, surely he would just keep quiet, Puller, and support him. No, I think he gets asked certain questions. He'll get asked questions about the manager being under pressure and all that. And look, he's the team captain. He can't throw Moyes under the bus. If he gets asked a question, he's really got to answer it. Burnley lost 17, Watford 27, Norwich 26. So at the moment, we're on course to match Burnley. Yeah, we've lost 11. 11 of 18. That does not make for good reason. Burnley went down with 17 losses. We've got 4 wins. Anyone think we're going to go to Molineux and win? I don't. Moyes is new player phobic, which is an issue for a manager. Yeah, he's bizarrely new player phobic. Left back, our Moyes is. Stop. Fucking Leighton Baines. I'm surprised we haven't signed Fellaini yet, to be honest. Unless we start picking up some wins, we could lose more than 17. Absolutely. Absolutely. We absolutely could lose more than 17 games, given that in our first 18, we've lost 11. I mean, we're on course. If we lose to Wolves, that'll be 12 losses in the first half of the season. That trend, obviously, in the second half would mean 24 losses. That's relegation. You're gone. You're done. It's over. You are not surviving. Unless start picking some wins. Sorry, no, missed it again. Let's write that one. Funny thing the other day was Moyes said he had the backing of the fans. Yeah. Do you think he believes that? Not really. Chris has finished. All teams target him. Yeah, all teams now are targeting both our flanks, and especially that side. We're very, very vulnerable on that side, and we'll continue to be unless Moyes sorts it out. But I don't think he sees it. I don't think he sees it. I bet you he doesn't sign a fullback in January. Um, it's irrational of the board to stick with Moyes, spend 100 million and let it reportedly extinct creature to manage them. Yeah, it's bizarre. Peter, if we could hold on to Leeds 6 points against Palace and Leeds, would be a bit better as the league stands at the moment. 6 points would be incredibly useful right now. And Moyes wouldn't be under so much pressure from fans. And what sort of money would we talking about to pay Moyes off? I don't know the figure. I don't know the figure, to be honest, and I don't care what it is. Just pay it. Relegation will cost a shit ton more. And the other thing is, the longer we leave it, the harder it is for a new manager to dig us out of the hole, and the harder it is to get a really good manager, because the closer down to the end of the season you are, the bigger the hole you're in, the more they're looking at it going, oh shit, I don't know. Do I really want to take this on? Hope someone didn't see that cat. I know, yeah, I have to be very careful. Can't let Kurt near it. What is we can't win home or away? Well, that's the thing. I mean, in the entirety of 2020, from the beginning of January last year, right? So from the 1st of January 22 to this moment right now, because we've had another home game, which was the Brentford game. 5 home wins. Sorry. 5 home wins. It's utterly pathetic. And only 6 away, by the way. 6 away wins, 5 at home. I think it's too late to turn things around. For Moyes, I think it is. I mean, look, the guy had fucking 6 weeks. Golden opportunity to work on things on the training ground, turn things around, try a fresh approach, do something a bit different. Came back to play Arsenal and Brentford and Leeds, same fucking thing. Exact same dross that we had before the World Cup, which was exactly what I expected. I think he's incapable of change. Even Tommy, sorry, a bit late, watched Everton get beat. Yeah, I saw they were beaten, but I'll be honest, last couple of games, I feel like Everton have picked it up a little bit. I think they've improved. I think they've improved a bit, and I really hope, that they don't keep improving, because we play them very soon in a couple of weeks. So and they could do some business in January. I don't know, but like they could improve by the time they play us. We might not be talking about quite the same Everton that we've seen so far this season. There are another 7 or 8 players out of contract. Someone don't parachute payments stop soon. Yeah, they do. And again, yeah, we've got another few players going out. Yeah, look, we'll have to buy some first team ready players, but we'll have to bring in some squad players. But I think if you're smart about it and your scouting and your due diligence is done, you can bring in good squad players relatively cheaply. Other teams, like I say, are really good at it. They find these fucking gems all the time, like that I've never heard of, playing for some random club in Europe, and then they come into the Premier League and you realize, wow, they're decent. Solskjaer, Javi Garcia, Deutsch, Wills, Rafael Bielsa, Zidane. Yeah, don't see Zidane happening. Can you imagine Zidane? That would be amazing. I'd love to see what Zidane could do with our players. Solskjaer, absolutely not. Javi Garcia, I'm not as familiar with him, to be frank, so I can't say much about him. Who does he manage, Audi? He's out of work, but what's his CV? Who's he managed, Audi? Sean Dyche, no thanks. Take him over Moyes until the end of the season. Sack Moyes, and if it has to be Dyche till the end of the season, why not? Villas Boas, he has a new job. Villas Boas was out of work, but I can't remember where he went. Weirdly, he went somewhere weird. Thailand or some shit like that. He's managing a team in Thailand or something. Benitez, no thanks. The Spanish waiter, don't want him. Bielsa, I would take. I would take Bielsa. I know I'm going to get some shit in the comment section for this. because I know he can be a bit gung ho. Um, he loves his attacking football, and he really does go all out attack. And I know that it leaves you open at the back. There's going to be some 3-2s and 4-3s and fucking the odd 5-4, which going either way. It'll be crazy football. It'll probably be. It probably would be a bit of a lack of consistency. Let's be honest, but um, I'll tell you what. There's a part of me that loves the idea of it because our football under Moyes is so tepid. It's so tepid. I kind of need that Bielsa antidote, where I just get to watch really exciting, entertaining football for a while. Um, and who knows, we might be surprised. We might concede less goals than we think because if we've got like two really good fullbacks, we know we've got two really good centre backs with everyone fit. Maybe they'll be better at not conceding than his Leeds defenders were. Maybe it would be something amazing for a while. But yeah, there's a part of me that would love Bielsa just to shake off the Moyes, and actually see some exciting bloody football at the London Stadium for a change. Without coming to the stadium, we could easily become the new Coventry City, owning the stadium. Yeah. Oh, can you imagine being in a championship with 25,000 people in there? Moyes' grudge against Benny and Rusa Areola is unprofessional. Yeah, it is. He's just a weirdo that way. I mean, Benny, one of our best performers this season. If we were voting for Hammer of the Year right now, Benny'd probably win it. And I don't know what Moyes' fucking problem is. He still criticizes Benny no matter what after games. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. The minute set Moyes' price drops due to the market seeing uncertainty, and yet we reviewed as a more stable bet if we keep him. Yeah, if that's true, that's really bizarre. Paul just reiterating, Burnley lost 17. Well, we've got 11 already, boys and girls. Who else we got? Laurent Blanc. Yeah, would you take Espirito Santo? Poch obviously would take in a heartbeat. I really liked the way Espirito Santo had Wolves playing. I know it didn't work out for him at Tottenham, but Tottenham's a bit of a fucking shit show. I would take him, that Espirito Santo. I really liked the way Wolves played, the way he set them up, and it was really good to watch. If you offered me him in the morning instead of Moyes, I'd fucking take him. But then I'd probably take fucking Fred West in the morning over Moyes. Instead of nursing England's left back position, bought Emerson for 12 mil and won't play him. Yeah. You remember when we went to Chelsea and we had one healthy centre back? That was Zuma. He was the only centre back available. And Moyes wanted to play with wing backs, which means 3 centre backs. He wanted to play 3 centre backs, had 1 fit centre back, and still wouldn't play Elise, excuse me. Still wouldn't play Elise. He was on the bench. He decided instead to play Sofel and Cresswell as centre backs. Just the man's a fucking moron, in my opinion. I'm sorry, he's a fucking moron. Same with Vlasic, yeah. Ruined Vlasic. Vlasic's doing really good stuff at Torino in his proper role. If some of the current had to play due to loads of injuries, might as well not playing a striker and goal. And right. Yeah, he's capable of anything. You never fucking know what's coming next with Moyes. Let's have a look then. 21, 26, and 18 Burnley. So that was what's that? Lost, drew, lost. What? Lost, drew, lost. 119. Okay. Here we go. Trini, Burnley, 7 wins, 14 draws. Okay, 7 wins, 14 draws. Only 7 wins all season. again, if we get beaten at Molineux, and at the moment you'd have to assume we will be beaten at Molineux, we'd have 4 wins halfway through the season. 4. Ridiculous. Like at Burnley, at least, very, very limited squad, very thin squad, limited team. Deutsch did really well to keep them up for so long. But we've got no excuse for being where we are. Surely you don't want the youth teams to be playing the Moyes game. No, Neil. I want the opposite. I want our youth teams to be playing proper football, and our senior teams to be playing proper football. So you bring in managers who fucking play proper football, not Moyes. I thought he would be sacked. I didn't. He should be, and we all understand why he should be sacked. But I knew he wasn't going to be. Listen, I'm telling you, I was saying it. If we lose to Leeds, he's not going to get sacked, and I still believe that. I think if we lose to Wolves, he won't be sacked. I really believe that. I see Brighton has played an 18-year-old striker in the last 2 games and he scored twice. Yeah, an Irish lad. I wasn't aware of him. I can't remember his name at the moment, but yeah, he's a young Irish lad. And is that who you mean? Is it the young Irish kid guy? Right, I'm right. Don't Brighton have an algorithm they use? The managers have to follow. Yes. The managers at Brighton aren't really managers. They're head coaches, essentially. Their only job is the team. The first team squad, that's their job. Set them up to play. Get them playing, get them winning games. Let us worry about everything else. We'll sign players. And they sign players that match what they're trying to do as a team as well. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the manager has no input. I'm sure the manager can say, look, we're struggling a bit here in this position. I really could use a good player in that position to strengthen there. And I'm sure the board will say, okay, all right, we'll go get you a player for that position. But the manager doesn't dictate those things because managers are transient. Players can be there for years, potentially. Managers are not, generally. A manager, I think the average shelf life for Premier League managers is about 3 seasons. So why allow a manager complete control over everything like that, over everything about who they're signing or the players that they're signing or the way that the team is going to play, the style of play? That should be set by the club. That has to be set by the club. Otherwise, every time you sign a manager, like I said, new manager is going to want to change up the whole team potentially because the players that are there, he doesn't fancy them because he doesn't think they're the right players for the way he wants to play. So you're flogging a dead horse. You're never going to get any kind of consistency. Managers are fleeting. Barrett Obama deserves a chance. He looks energetic and enthusiastic. He does. I like what I've seen from him, but he will never get a chance from Moyes. Moyes will use him when he's convenient, not because he wants to try and bring him through or develop him. None of that comes into Moyes' thinking. Moyes knows he's got this kid here who's available if he really needs him. Remember the conference game out in Bucharest against FCSB? Yeah, certain youngsters were useful to Moyes in that game. And so we played him. And that was it. You won't see him again until the next time they just happen to be useful. Moyes might decide tomorrow against Brentford that Mubama is useful. And he might give him a game. If that's what he wants. If he doesn't want to play Scamacca or Antonio. He'll give Mubama a game. But don't think it's to develop him. Or with a view to bringing him through. To potentially be a starter in the future. Moyes has got no interest in that. Yesterday, that's the owner's Bible despite the manager. I hate slagging off for players that have done well for us. I see Rupert Cresswell in the first half. He does get a bit isolated at times. We can set up a team to stop this until. Yeah, look, I'm not trying to slag Cresswell. It's not his fault. Cresswell has hit the wall. Every player hits the wall. He's in his 30s. It's to be expected. At some point, they fall off a cliff, and it just can't do it anymore. It's not Cresswell's fault. It's Moyes' fault. Cresswell shouldn't be playing. I really like Cresswell. He's been a brilliant servant, and he's been a really good player for us. And it saddens me to see him having to play like that when he can't do it anymore. Brighton probably have a manager cloning problem too. They just perfecting the science. It looks that way, doesn't it? It looks like they clone managers because they know what they're doing, and they've got their setup absolutely correct. When they lose De Zerbi, for whatever reason, you watch and see what happens at Brighton. They're already now looking and saying, okay, who's going to be the next manager? If De Zerbi goes for any reason, Brighton already know who the next manager is, who's going to come in and play the same way. They already know who it is. I think. It's only tongue in cheek, Neil. I'd like us to blend in some of our youngsters. Brighton and Brentford are forward-thinking clubs who have great scouts and don't need to spend big bucks to sign them. Yeah, they're unbelievable at identifying players. Unbelievable. Potter will be given time to sell and purchase players more capable of playing his fluid, technical and passing through the line style of football. Tuchel purchase more direct players. He should be. He should be. And this is exactly what I was just talking about, Odie. Chelsea have brought in a manager who plays a completely different style of play to Tuchel. So now Graham Potter is going to be looking around there. He's had a good look at those players now. And I bet you he's identified a number of them that need to go and be replaced. And like I say, bring in players that can play his style of football. Isn't it madness for a club to operate like that? What happens if Tuchel gets rid of all these players, right? Signs a bunch of players that he wants, and it doesn't work out. The players, maybe they're not good enough, bad signings, or for whatever reason, it's not working out. And he gets sacked. And then Chelsea bring in a new manager who plays a totally different way to the last one, to Potter. And now he's looking at these players going, oh, geez, these won't do. These players are not suited to the way I play. Going to have to get rid of a bunch of them, get a bunch of new players in. It's a pointless cycle. I don't understand why clubs operate like this. Brighton and Brentford have got it sussed. They've absolutely got it sussed. Okay. I really appreciate you guys in the comments section, by the way, because in the live chat, because I'm on my own tonight, and so you guys really help to kind of keep this thing flowing. Let's do your lineup for tomorrow. Okay. Okay, Mandy, let's do that. So here's the thing. I know some of you are thinking, let's throw in, a few youngsters and give them a run, see what happens. I'll tell you honestly, I'm thinking a bit differently, Mandy, and I'll tell you why. I know for a lot of us, we're not that pushed given the circumstances, about an FA Cup run. And I'm the same. I'm not that pushed about us going on a run in the FA Cup. I think we really need to concentrate on the Premier League right now. We don't need the extra games. And also in March, we're going to have the resumption of the Conference League. So I agree with the people who are saying FA Cup this season now is not a priority. But I think the game tomorrow is important. I think it's important because we need a lift. We've got to get a win from somewhere. We've got to give the players something to smile about and to feel good about, to perk them up a little bit, essentially, because no win again at Elland Road. Still haven't won a game. And I think we really need a win from somewhere. We need a lift. And I'll tell you what, Thomas Frank's going to want to win the FA Cup. he is going to want his players to go out and win this game tomorrow. They're going to take this very seriously. They don't have Europe. They don't have Carabao Cup, as far as I'm aware. I think they got knocked out in that. So, like, kind of a shock defeat, I think, in that. So all they've got is Premier League. They can absolutely go for the FA Cup. And I think Thomas Frank will want them to go for it and try and win a trophy, which they're absolutely capable of winning. I mean, they've beaten Man City away. They beat Liverpool last week. They can beat anybody on their day. So I think they're going to take this very seriously. I think they're going to have a very strong team out. A very strong team. And they're going to be up for it and they're going to want to win it. And I think we have to try and match that. Look, we could not take it seriously and essentially just kind of roll over. We could change up the whole team and get beat. And I don't think that would damage us. And I wouldn't care that we were gone out of the FA Cup. And losing wouldn't damage us because we're in the fucking mud anyway. So I don't think that would damage morale any more than it already is. But I think on the flip side, if Brentford were to put out a very strong team tomorrow and really go for it and be serious, and we also put out a very strong team tomorrow and go for it and really try to win this thing, and we turn them over, that could really give a lift to the players to say, look, we've lost to Brentford the last few times, and they put out a strong team and they really wanted to win that and they went for it, but we beat them. We knocked them out the cup. We won the game. I think the players would cough, feeling really good about that, and maybe they'd have a smile on their face on the bus back to wherever they're going. And it would just be a little bit of a lift. I would really like us to take this seriously tomorrow, put out a very strong team and try and win it. So lineup. Also put your lineup for tomorrow. The lineup you would like to see tomorrow. Okay, so my team tomorrow. Areola in goal. Now I'd be playing 4-3-3, by the way. I'd have Areola in goal. I would play Sofal at right back. I would play Aguerd because I think he needs the minutes. I think Aguerd, needs to get his match fitness. He looked pretty good against Leeds. Got important game time. I think it's important that we keep that going. Increase his match fitness again another bit. So Aguerd alongside Dawson. Because I think we're going to have Zuma back for the Wolves game, I wouldn't worry about playing Dawson. And I would have Johnson at left back. I'd have a midfield three of Rice, Downs and Paqueta. And I would have the front three of Benny, Bowen and Scamacca. That is a very strong team, I know. And that's exactly what I would do. A very strong team. I think we need a win. We've got to put a strong team out and go for it. And try and win a game. Try and give these players a lift, a little bit of confidence. I think that could be really good for them ahead of the Wolves game. Maybe they go there with just a little bit more pep in their step because they've beaten Brentford away in the cup. And it could be important. It could be important. Like I say, losing I don't think will mean much because we're already in the mud. But a win, I just think we have to win a game somewhere, sometime, and we really need one. And this could be a good opportunity for that lift and that little injection maybe of confidence. I'd like to know what Brady does with regards to running the club. Oh, Christ knows. Should be keeping our mouth shut at least. You hear that all our boys were Moyes' choice. If so, why boys hacking players? He should just about 7 defenders. He probably would have if he could have gotten away with it. I think Chelsea owner will pull the plug before anything. I do too. I think they'll sack Potter because Chelsea are a shit show. Frankly, they sacked managers on a whim. They shouldn't have sacked Tuchel. They really shouldn't. They should have stuck with Tuchel. I think he would have done a really good job for them long term. Um, but look, I mean, could be our gain, right? Wouldn't that be almost the perfect scenario? Chelsea sack Potter, and then we sack Moyes and bring in Potter. That would be a bit of a coup. That would be fantastic. We need more signings in January, 100%. But you know what Moyes is like in January. We'll see little to no action, in my opinion. Tommy, do you appear to have reached standards? Okay, why do the youth appear to reach standards? The purchase players don't appear to have to double standards. Why? Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's Moyes, and Moyes has form. Like even at Everton, he was the same. Like he just does not trust youth players whatsoever. He doesn't develop them, doesn't bring them through. Even Wayne Rooney said Moyes almost ruined him. Almost ruined him. Like he didn't want to play Rooney whatsoever. He really didn't. Wayne Rooney, a wonder kid. He had a wonder kid at Everton that everybody knew was an unbelievable youngster, that was a very special player. And Moyes did not want to play him. You look at Rooney's interviews when he's asked about Moyes, because of this myth about Moyes bringing Rooney through. He didn't. He didn't want to bring him through. Didn't want to play him. He was forced to play him. He came under so much pressure from fans, among other people, that he literally threw Wayne Rooney in and said, "Fine, fucking here, I'll play him," and probably hoped he would fail just so he could drop him out the team again and say, "Right, now shut up about Rooney." But of course, Rooney was unbelievable because he was such an incredible talent. So this is just Moyes. He's not interested in developing youth players. Never has been. It's another reason I want him sacked. May as well fold up our academy. I don't think Everton played that badly tonight, considering they were playing a side who have won 10 out of the last 11. Yeah, they looked relatively okay tonight, Everton. They didn't look that bad, to be fair. So we'll see how they do in the Premier League. I don't know who Everton are playing next week, but I'm actually going to be taking a look at Everton next week just to see. I'm going to watch their game. If it doesn't, I don't know if it clashes with our game. If it doesn't, I'm going to watch the Everton game, even if I have to stream it, because we've got them next. So after Wolves, so I want to see what they look like before they play us. They just appear to me to be just picking up a bit, which is a little bit of a worry. Tommy, that trend started last season, not a growth since Liverpool last year. Yeah, that was the last really. When was the last time you watched a West Ham game that we won and you were buzzing after it because it was like it was in the Premier League, because it was just such a good performance that the whole team was at it, and it was just a great performance. It's been a long, long time. Even our 4 wins, like this season, none of them have been like really top performances, have they? Managers don't get a lump sum. I believe they pay them in wages. Yeah, but we still have to pay it. For someone who doesn't work for the club anymore. I think we're not going to win against Brentford in the FA Cup. Manchester City wouldn't win the FA Cup. I think he's lying. Yeah, I do too. Well, we'll find out tomorrow, Victor. As soon as we see that lineup, we'll know if he's taking this seriously or not. There's no need to rest players tomorrow. There really isn't. We'll have a week before our next game. So if he's taking it seriously, we'll find out tomorrow, because I guarantee you Thomas Frank will take it seriously and he'll want to win the FA Cup. He will have a very strong team out, Frank, and he will be telling his players he expects them to go out and try and win this game. We can't go on like this, but it's falling on deaf ears. It's gone beyond a joke now. Yeah, you wonder what it's going to take, because you think about it. I mean, if we lose to Wolves, even if we beat Everton, you look at the fixtures that are coming after that. It's not pretty. Relegation this time around will be for different to any relations. It will. I think if we get relegated this time, the repercussions are worse than they have ever previously been. for our club. We're going to have to dismantle the squad. Dismantle. Maybe the owners give everything in their budget without 8 million. They simply cannot. I doubt it. Because they said, look, they'll hire someone who's out of work. They'll go get Sean Dyche or someone like that. They don't have to pay off anyone for him. They can still afford his wages. We can afford a manager. We definitely can. Because of Zuna, we might start a sporting. Oh, Sam Mice Collective. I was wondering what we might. Because of Zuma, we might start a sporting West Ham. Some sporting West Ham because of Benny. We might start Mice out. Let you know that. Yeah, I did hear Zuma had become very popular with mice and rats everywhere after the cat incident. Moyes should have gone after the Everton game. Yep. Should have gone after the. Certainly after the. At worst, he should have gone after the Leicester game. At worst, bad injury to Iwobi. Yeah, I saw he got stretchered off. He'll be a loss for Everton. Even your cat has had enough, Tommy. Yeah, he has. He had the zoomies. Oh, that sounds bad, doesn't it? The zoomies sounds like no reference to Kurt Zuma. He had the zoomies. He's been running about. Look, say hi. This is Kenny. Say hi, Kenny. Kenny. Hello. Hello, Kenny. Hello. So that's Kenny. But I think he's beat now. He's having a lie down. I think he's ready to sleep for the night. Yeah, Everton have Southampton next, so I think they'll come to us after a win. Very possibly. Are Everton home or away? If it's at St. Mary's, we'll see. But yeah, Everton could well win that game. Southampton are in the mud as well. Southampton look really bad. Yeah, they did. Everton looked okay tonight, it has to be said. Users with the board's arrogance and hubris could destroy us. It could. Why are you promising youth? Oh, yeah, sorry, I read that. I don't know why that came up again. Are you serious? Everton are shocking. They're worse than us. Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. Everton have been really, really bad. And Frank Lampard is on the brink. I'm talking about they got a very, very good point. Very unexpected point. Was it away to... Where was it? Was it at City or something? Didn't they get a point at City? Away to City. And although they lost tonight, away to United in the Cup, they didn't look like dog shit. Like the scoreline is 3-1, and United played very, very well, it has to be said. But Everton were not... They weren't shocking against City, and they were not shocking tonight. They have been shocking all season. I completely understand where you're coming from, Glenn. They've been really, really bad. But the last couple of games I've seen, they haven't looked as bad. They really haven't. I don't know if you've seen either game, but they have not looked as bad at all. They have had a little bit of a pickup. The same way we have, right? We didn't look as bad against Brentford or Leeds, right? We've been really shocking, like in some games, but against Brentford, we weren't shockingly bad. Like we did some okay stuff, and against Leeds as well, we didn't look shockingly bad. You know what I mean? But we're still not getting the results. Everton looked a bit like that last couple of games. That they picked up a little bit. The cat heard the name Zuma and legged it. Yeah. If you could buy any 3 players in transfer window, would you get? Oh Jesus! There's a question. Well, I want a left back and a right back and a striker, a backup striker. I'll have to think about that one. But exact names, I'd have to think of. They'd have to be available in January. They'd have to be within the budget. I don't even know how much we've got to spend in January. I'll think about that one, Sinead. Is that okay?
Yeah.
She's here. Maupay was poor signing for Everton. Only team he scored against was us, obviously. I quite like Maupay though. Weirdly, I don't know why. Sorry, I don't know what that was about. Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about yourselves. Yeah, Bielsa. There is that part of me that would love to get Bielsa in. That would be epic. I mean, that would be so fun to watch. So fun to watch. Who knows what would happen in any game? It'd be fucking entertaining, though. Skamaka would probably have like 30 goals in a season. Zidane would headbutt all the players in the dressing room. Not would come in. No, we wouldn't forget Zidane. Not happening. Oh my god! Really, Cockney Buccaneer, you're living up to your name. Jesus Christ! No, not Di Canio under any circumstances. I love Paolo, but he's a fucking head case. He's a head case. It would be a disaster. Bielsa could get Bamford here. Bamford's a sick note. We have enough sick notes. Takes Stevie Wonder over Moyes. Yeah, he'd be able to see things Moyes doesn't. Yeah, need excitement after Moyes. It would be a nice antidote, wouldn't it, to the Moyes ball? Yeah. Prince Harry over Moyes. Out of all those choices, I want to see come to West Ham, Sean Dyche. Yeah, I think Bielsa previously has said he wouldn't work for Sullivan, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he said he wouldn't work for him. And who could blame him? Poor Benny, indeed. Poor Benny. He's been treated roughly. Put all players on the lie detector machine, ask them if they care about the club and if they really want to be here. Oh, that'd be interesting. I like Patrick Vieira, but he's taken. He is taken, but no one's that taken. Do you know what I mean? Tell you what, I'd fucking love us to go take Company from Burnley. Vincent Company now, that's something I could get behind. So, Javi Garcia, Valencia, Watford, Rubinstein, Malaga. Trying to remember him at Watford. But Watford have so many managers. I think they've had more managers than years have been in existence, haven't they? A fucking ridiculous club. So we want to talk about a badly run club. Watford are really badly run. We would concede less if we attacked more. That's the theory. But Bielsa ball is a whole different thing. I'll take John West with the Westings to Tuna. Did you hear that? Really? Oh, interesting. Which one's that? Is that Romeo? Tell me, has Moyes taken the Johnson that signed the contract personally? I don't know. Possibly. He may have decided to freeze him out because of the contract situation. I don't know. It's possible. You wouldn't put it past Moyes. At least Burnley fought for their lives. Yeah, Burnley did fight at least. They just weren't good enough. Carrick, too early. Way too early for Carrick. Let's see how he gets on long term at Borough. Kevin Keane, caretaker manager till the end of the season. Okay, fine, I could live with that. He's done that before. Hasn't Keane taken over before as a caretaker? Hasn't he? Like temporarily? Or was he someone's assistant for a while? Was he assistant to... Tell me in the chat if you can remember. Did he take over as a caretaker manager before Kevin Keane? I can't remember. My head's telling me he's done that before. Brighton kid, Ferguson. Yeah. Jeez, what a debut he had. You know, that dream debut. Did anyone see Brady and the Apprentice last night? She's looking ropey. I don't watch it, to be honest. So, but yeah, I imagine she is. They only keep Moyes because if we go down, he should do well in the Championship. You can only have a little small squad. I think it's money, but I think they will sack him if it doesn't turn around. They're going to sack him if it doesn't turn around, and I don't expect it to. John Carrick doing too much good job. It was raise a project across the board a few pennies. Yeah, it's too soon for Carrick. He has turned Borough around quickly, but let's not, one swallow doesn't make a summer. Let's wait and see how he does. We haven't played tonight at Everton Town. Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, like I said, I don't think we're going to see him anyway. I think it'll either be Scamacca or Antonio starting tomorrow. You're right, Antonio continue to stand and play from a youth has first team is so important for grounding our youngsters going forward. Moyes does not do this. The club doesn't do it. Tell you what, that's one thing Noble needs to sort out. From bottom to top, needs to sort out the identity of the club. Because at the moment, our academy is a complete waste of time. Given Crest from Fabius new 1-year deals, I know it's absolute madness. Watch menu for Everton. Everton played well. They did. Lucky as equalised was an inch offside. Fantastic goal, showing much improvement. I agree. I think Everton are showing signs of life. Worryingly. Neil just reaffirming that. We're on the box tomorrow. I don't think we're on live, are we? I honestly don't know. Maybe no. Usual says we're not on TV. No, so we're not on TV. You're going to have to find it somewhere. Still in the sense signing 20-year-old Brazilian CB to be on the bench for under 21s. I don't know. Look, he's only 20, so and centre backs have a longer shelf life than a lot of players, obviously, like as in prime years. So hopefully he'll get his chance and he'll take it. He'll grasp it with both hands. And then when Moyes fucks off, maybe the new manager will be taking a better look at our prospects in the under 21s and under 18s. Some foreign channel, yeah, we'd have to find it somewhere. We have full squad to choose from apart from Zuma, none of that counts for much in the moment. Yeah, well, I hope he goes strong tomorrow. He better. Go Ashby, Kerr, and Dawson with Everson. Kerr, Dawson, Ashby. Yeah, Ashby is such a kicker, isn't it? I'm sickened. This is Moyes again. Moyes making these youngsters feel like they're wasting their time at West Ham. And to be frank, they are. They're wasting their time at West Ham. As long as Moyes is in charge, they've got no chance. And Ashby has got no chance. I can't blame him for leaving. I think he's doing the right thing. I really do. And I don't blame Johnson for not signing a new contract because he's got no chance to develop under Moyes. He's been played in about 5 different positions that I can think of off the top of my head. 5 different positions since he's come through as a youngster. He's a right back. How is he supposed to develop as a right back and become a really great, potentially great right back that could play at West Ham for years? How is a youngster supposed to master 5 fucking positions? It's impossible. So poor Johnson has basically been turned into a fucking utility player. Jack of all trades, master of none. Nobody wants to be a utility player. I feel bad for Johnson. Moyes has really fucked him over, if I'm completely honest. He's just played him everywhere. So how's a youngster supposed to develop like that? You can't learn 5 fucking positions. Reviewers on Swift to you in Australia. Oh, good for you. Well done, Neil. You've got an easy one. Leno's Suchek Downs. Okay. Yeah, same thing I said. Go strong. Got a week between games. Antonio, Benny, and Bowen. Okay. I think Antonio's finished, Mandy, if I'm completely honest. I think Antonio just looks completely finished. I don't think he offers really anything anymore, to be completely honest. We'll end up with a picture at the club like that famous, when did you last see your father? But we recall, when did you last win a match? Yeah. Gillingham beat them. Yeah, it was Gillingham. Yeah, thank you. They beat Brentford, but really shock result. Gillingham can't beat anybody. And they beat Brentford. It was weird. Let's see here. We've been playing football for at least 12 months. Moyes ignored all this. Now we have a mountain of problems to sort out on the pitch. Yeah, it's fixable. It's fixable. Brentford only need to run at us and they'll win easily. They've sussed us out. Thomas Frank has completely sussed out Moyes. Why would he do anything different to what he did at the LS a couple of weeks ago? You know, sit back, soak up the pressure. We can't score on them, and they'll hit us on the counter with pace. Simple as that. See what else we got here. Usually it's shameful what's happened last 12 months. Yeah, and the board are allowing this to continue. Let's remember that. The board are allowing this to continue. It's ludicrous. Quilter got nasty gash and leg on Wednesday. I reckon he'll be rested. Possibly. Depends on what the leg is like. He continued after for a good while, you know, and he walked off. Didn't look to be limping or anything. But look, it could be Kerr or Johnson at right back tomorrow. Nothing matters but the win. With a lot of pluses and sleeves. Let's keep it going. Keep what going? Keep what going, John? Let's keep what going? Losing. Big up, but I believe Moyes has to go. Let's see. Tommy, you're going very strong, Mandy. I think we need a win. Just a win from somewhere, even if it's in the cup. You know, we just need a pick-me-up. Play Devon up top was Kamaka or Antonio. Johnson left back, Ashby right back. Downs holding mid. Bench with Marshall. Could do that. I mean, yeah, look, he could play Ashby. I'd be fine with that. He's on his way out though, unfortunately. Well, I'd be absolutely fine with Ashby, cracking young player. Dawson will probably score an own goal against Wolves. He wants to go there. Yeah, he'll probably want to woo them, won't he? It's a bit dangerous playing Dawson against Wolves, I think. Wouldn't it be... Oh, can you imagine the irony if Wolves would like to sign Dawson in January and he plays against them and they injure him and put him out for a month? We do need a win. Yeah, we just badly need any kind of win, Mandy. If we win it, it will give us a lift. 100%. It will definitely give the players a bit of a lift to go and turn them over. Yeah. So I don't think we'll be seeing any of the youngsters tomorrow. Give Chelsea Moyes in exchange. Wouldn't that be amazing? No, no luck. Keep going. Fucking win everything with them. Chelsea losing next to him. Potter is toast. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, at Chelsea? Like, just no patience whatsoever at Chelsea. Absolutely none. The bigger paycheck, thinking Chelsea were the bigger club. They are a bigger club. They're sworn with his old club. So what? Chelsea are a bigger club. Who wouldn't go from Brighton to Chelsea? Come on, Mr. POTUS. If you were the Brighton manager, you're telling me Chelsea come in for you and you say, no, thanks, happy out in Brighton. I'll pass. Come on. You're going to go to Chelsea if that opportunity arises. And okay, he was just in the door when Brighton beat him 4-1. He hadn't even had a chance to do much of anything. He still hasn't really. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's harsh. Heard that also about Moyes with Rooney. He did not want to play him, but had to because of circumstances. Exactly. Imagine having to have Rooney forced on you. Wayne Rooney. Fucking wonder kid. Fucking hell. He's a clown. Potter would be ideal for us. Yeah, Potter would be amazing to get. Was the destroyer of players, young and old. I heard Everton channel choice between Rooney. Heard on the Everton channel choice between Rooney or Moyes. Yeah, I don't know if they'd bring Rooney in. I don't know. Would they risk Rooney? Another young, after Lampard? Would they really want to go Rooney? I think they'd be more likely to Go Moyes if he was available. Potter only worked with Brighton because of Brighton's system. I doubt it work as a manager. That's again harsh. We don't know that. We don't know that. It's too early to say if Potter's no good. You don't know if kids at 89 is if you give them a chance with Tony Cottage, Joe Cole, not Carrick. Yeah, look, I'm going to tell you this, right? And I, honest to God, believe this. Honest to God, believe this. If Moyes had been in charge when Rice was 18, Rice would not be the player he is now. He would not have gotten games from Moyes. He would not have brought Declan Rice through. Absolutely no way, in my opinion. I think it's just by the grace of God that it wasn't Moyes who was in charge when Rice was 18, 19. Because fuck knows what would have happened to Rice. He probably wouldn't be at West Ham anymore. He'd have gone somewhere else to try and get some games to develop himself. But Moyes would not be at West Ham and the player he is right now if Moyes was manager. He would not have developed him and brought him through whatsoever. Moyes going, he's got 3 transfers in the pipeline. If he was going to be sacked, they wouldn't give him more cash. Well, we haven't spent any cash yet. We'll see. Let's see if he spends any money. Snazzy Azzy, evening. How are you? Good to see you. Liverpool last season. Sorry, that's. I can see. Yeah, I suspect in the Premier League, I think you're right. I think that was the last time I can remember being absolutely buzzing after a West Ham game because we were so good. Obviously, it helped that it was Liverpool. You know, it's a big scalp as well. So that's the last time I think I remember where I was like, oh, wow, what a performance. That was brilliant. Agreement from Audi. Couldn't name them only. I don't know what that is. And okay, I'm going to try. Over 12 months ago, yeah. Liverpool, yeah, I think we're pretty much in agreement. Will Cresswell start? I think he will. I think Cresswell might play tomorrow. Moyes cares about the FA Cup as much as he cares about youth development. Yep, which is 0. On this run, players look before they take the pitch. Yeah, well, it's hard. You know, it's hard because if you keep losing and you can't win for love nor money, and it affects you. It's things on the pitch. If something goes against you on the pitch, you kind of get that. Players who are really confident. They say they go a goal down. They G each other up. It's like, come on, we still got this. We still got this. Pull your socks up. We'll keep going. We'll still win this. Because the confidence is there. If you're winning games, when you're losing games, it's the opposite. You go 1-0 down and you can very easily, drop your head and think, oh, Christ, here we go again. That's why I was so sickened when we actually managed to go from 1-0 down to 2-1 up against Leeds, that Moyes just reverted to type and didn't try to. That's when you put your fucking boot on their neck. Fucking hell. Yeah, Moyes is the man. If you say so, bud. According to the latest medical update from Sam, Zuma's knee has been damaged beyond surgical readiness. Can Kenny play at left back or wing back position? Kenny said he is never ever playing in any team with Kurt Zouma. So there you go. I think that's pretty emphatic. Fair enough, Kenny. Can't argue with the logic. At Everton, they already won at Southampton, did they? Watched Everton. They didn't scare me. Well, no, we're not going to scare anyone. We were going around and get Champions League football. No, Everton not going to scare anyone. I'm just saying they seem to have picked up a little bit. They don't look as bad. Not saying they're amazing. Drew at City, yeah. Everton looked hard working and did create. They did. Gray will cause problems. Yeah, Demarai Gray is a good player. And Calvert-Lewin is back for them as well. Everton were very unlucky against United. They were. Is Kenny named after Dalglish or Brown? Okay, so no, neither. I name. I've had more than one cat, cats over the years, right? So I name all my cats after country and west country singers. So I have a female cat who's asleep on the bed, and she's Shania after Shania Twain. I had another female cat who died earlier this year, had to be put down earlier this year. Oh, sorry, last year. And she was Reba, so named after Reba McIntyre. So this is Kenny, named after Kenny Rogers. So there you go. It's just a thing I have for naming my cats. Let me see. Let's see. This is Snazzy Azzy. Tommy, how many points do you think will be just enough to stay up this season? It's hard to tell. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Actually, Snazzy, I'm going to take a proper look at that in a minute. Around the 2% for the season have been against United and Liverpool. Yeah, it's West Ham have 92,000 to spend. 92,000. Amazing. Can we afford the translator and the bucket for Bielsa? So Bielsa speaks Spanish. So maybe one of the players can earn himself like an extra 50 quid a week if you do the translating duties, like Lanzini or someone. Say, Menu, here, look, you're Argentinian. Just translate, we'll bung you an extra 50 quid. Cash in hand. Say no more, son. I don't know what that is. At this stage, even take Birch and Diaz. Yeah, of course. 100% to take Birch and Diaz, but, Blackburn are pushing for promotion. They're not going to release him in January. Tommy, I watched Everton versus City. They had one shot and they won the goal tonight. Through De Gea's legs to assist the goal against Wolves 1-1. Scared to attack, and Wolves hit on the break 2-1 Wolves. Yeah, look, I'm not saying Everton are great, but the last two games I've seen them, they haven't been as bad. Diaz the little Blackburn since scoring against us. Haven't been following. Vincent Company doing a great job as Mike Carrick. Yeah. I'd take Vincent Company. Really like Vincent Company, the way he plays. He'd garner massive respect in the dressing room as well. Unless we get team spirit and fight, we head up to the Liverpool game last season, it would be tough. Yeah, it's going to be tough. As long as Moyes is our manager, we're in trouble. It's as simple as that. Johnson wants assurance of game time, considering who we have ahead of him. I don't blame him. Yeah, I mean, like fucking Sofal. Like, Kehrer hasn't looked good at right back for the most part. I don't know what Ben Johnson has to do, really. Keane coming for a game or two before Zola, and I think, yeah, I remember him. Scott Parker. Scott Parker has a job. He has taken over at FC Bruges. Keane managed for 2 games. He managed for 2 games in 2008 and 2011 and lost both. Yeah, he was just like stopgap. So I certainly wouldn't give him the manager's job if that's what it's. I hope Thomas Frank had an 8 million release clause before he signed his new contract with Brentford. Really missed an opportunity there. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine being able to get Thomas Frank for 8 million. Let's see. Nobody needs to make us go back to the old badge and drop the London bollocks that makes us look amateurish. It is a bit fucking cringe, isn't it? It's like it's so fucking corporate. This is I've seen your face more than Moyes this week. On everything at the moment. How's it going? Yeah, I'm an absolute slag when it comes to talking about West Ham. I'll appear on anybody's show who asks me, basically. Do you think Giggs or Michael Owen would have been success under Moyes? Giggs or Michael Owen? I don't know. It's hard to say. Giggs left wing. Giggs might have had a chance. Giggs might have had a chance as an orthodox left winger. But then Moyes plays some formations where there isn't an orthodox left winger. So Giggs probably would have struggled for games. Michael Owen probably wouldn't have got any games because he's not a big hulking forward. You know, he's diminutive. So Moyes probably would have just sat him on the bench. Keep the momentum going, get revenge, and this time around take our chances, play a strong team. Yeah. If another striker comes in and Joe should. Okay, 1 second. I think you. Okay, if another striker comes in, Antonio could take position at the back. Yes, send him on the post. He can clear balls off the line. Antonio's 33 in March and still has 2.5 years in his contract. A fucking madness. We're a fucking care home. We have been for years. Peter Sherman, that's ridiculous. The contract Antonio's on. He's done nothing since he kissed the cardboard cutout of himself. No. Manly G, Potter would be perfect for. I agree. Oh god, I'd love to get Graham Potter in. So please sack him, Chelsea. Antonio goes missing too much during the match. A bit like sending out a search party for Corny. Managing 20 million also has something to do with it. LOL, yeah. That player with the perm who went to Chelsea and Brighton struggled. Cucurella? Yeah, Cucurella. I don't watch enough Chelsea games, to be completely honest. I fucking hate Chelsea. How does the Newcastle manager Howe get decent players to improve so much that they are competing for top four, not spent on? Yeah, Howe's doing an unbelievable job. And Mendy basically gives you your answer because he's a very good manager. I think he's a very good man manager, and Moyes isn't. Moyes won't talk to fucking players. You know, it's crazy. Never had a great budget at Bournemouth and did well apart from 1 year. Yeah, he did a phenomenal job. The players at Newcastle are playing stay on the Gravy Train next season and in the future. How will be England manager? I think he will as well, Mandy. I think he'll manage England. Yes, we're sure about transfer news. Is it real? Yes. He wants out. Newcastle want him, and that's exactly what will happen. How's getting a tune out of some very ordinary players? Yeah, he has improved players. He really has. Zach, Leon away game. Yes, overall that's the correct answer. But in Premier League, I think you're going back to the home game with Liverpool. Was everything about Moyes' toilet zone assessment a mix of his position? Yeah, he's very deluded, Moyes. Certainly his public utterances are deluded. Whether he really believes it or not, I don't know. God, I hope he's not right. You know, he's saying, the board are really behind me. I'm not under pressure. What if he's right? What if the board are really behind him and they're no intention of sacking him? Peter. Moyes played right at centre back in about 3 and 19 during his first stint with Pellegrini to thank. Yeah, Pellegrini to thank. Did Kenny get dumped by the muggy down the road, Lucille? No, Kenny doesn't get dumped. Come here, Kenny. I'm sorry. Come here, Kenny. Kenny is a very handsome boy. See how handsome Kenny is? He's a very handsome boy, aren't you, Kenny? Say hi. Kenny's a very handsome boy. Yes, Kenny doesn't get dumped. Kenny gets all the girls, don't you, Kenny? Yeah. There we go. Trini Hammer, you could have a point, but it has not been said. Multiple millions has been spent. Just look at Newcastle team, Bowman, Dummett, Kraft, Lascelles, Trippier, Longstaff, Wilson. Yeah. Newcastle are punching above their weight. You know, they've got a decent team, but I mean, Jesus, the performances that Howe is getting out of them are astonishing. When teams look at our lineup, there's no one they're scared of. Well, they're not scared of us as a team. On paper, we've got a very good side, but No one's afraid of us as a team, which is shocking. Foreign Legion. Don't the Wolves never gives them much difference to go. You would think, but who the hell knows? Okay, let me see if I've got something here I'm going to show you. So, we all know. Oh wait, I have to go back to comments. I'm just going to clear that one. Excuse me. We all know that we've got Wolves away, Everton at home. Okay, so I think it's absolutely vital that we get 6 points. Excuse me while I take a puff. I think it's absolutely vital we get 6 points from those games. And here's why. Here's our next 8. See that? That's our 8 games. 8 games after the Everton game. Now, imagine we don't. Imagine we get 1 point or 3 points out of Wolves and Everton. Newcastle away, you think we're getting anything there? Unlikely. You think we're going to go to the bridge, get something? Unlikely. Tottenham away, you think we'll get something there? Probably not. Forest at home, maybe. Possibly could get a win. But Forest have improved and are moving in the right direction. Brighton away, we never beat Brighton. And the way they're playing and the way their season's going, we're going to lose that game. Villa at home, by the time we play them, they could be much better. They're already showing the signs of improvement. And if Unai Emery gets them playing and really improves them, which I suspect he will, that could be a very difficult game. Yeah, we've got Man City away. If I can forget that one, that's a loss. Southampton at home. Again, another game we could win. Southampton are in the mud. And I think when we play them, they'll still be in the mud. So there's only 2 games there that you would look at and think, yeah, well, decent chance of winning that. That's home to Forest and away to Southampton. The other games, we could very easily lose all the other games, and there's no promises that we could beat Forest at home or Southampton at home. We might, but we might not. And that Southampton game at home is the 1st of April. And let's be honest, even if we do beat Forest at home and we do beat Southampton at home, and those other games are losses, we're still in the mud. We are still absolutely in the mud. We will be in the relegation zone, possibly rock bottom. There's a tough run of games coming after Wolves and Everton. And Wolves in itself, away to Wolves, they've got a new manager. They played really well at Villa Park. They were really unlucky that it took an injury time equaliser for Villa. And that's what kept us out of the relegation zone midweek. So we may not go to Wolves and win. We may lose that game. Home to Everton. Let's say we win it. 3 points. Whoopie-doo. Now look at those games. Where's the next 3 points coming from? Maybe home to Forest? Maybe. Are we going to have to wait till home to Southampton for our next win after the Everton win, say? That Southampton game is the 1st of April. We are bang in trouble, in my opinion. Bang in trouble. I think if we keep Moyes, by hook or by crook, no matter what's happening, if we stick with Moyes, in my opinion, we're getting relegated. Now, there are some more games after that. There's a mixture, some easier, some harder. But still looks like not enough points possibly for us to survive. We're bang in trouble if we don't sack Moyes. And the sooner we sack him, the sooner we can try and get out of this mess. That's a horrible run of games. Horrible run of games. Tough games. Forest at home, it won't be easy. I say we might win, but it won't be easy. That we might not win. Would you be shocked if Forest came to the London Stadium, nicked a point? They've improved. They're moving in the right direction. They've got some good wins. We're banging trouble, and the board are asleep at the wheel. All right, let's take all 10 games. All right, so I want you to think about this, because in the live chat, I want you to tell me how many points you think we're going to get from these 10 games. I want you to top them up one by one. Let's go. So I'll start you off, right? So in your head, how many points, right? And then top them up as you go. Okay, Wolves away. What's going to happen there? All right. Everton at home. How many points? Newcastle away. Chelsea at home. Tottenham away. Forest at home. Brighton away. Villa at home. Man City away. Southampton at home. Tell me in the live chat, how many points? And we'll end it there. We'll end it on that. How many points do you think we get from those 10 games? I'll be interested to see what you guys think. Let's get back in the comments. And let's, I'm going to scroll back up. Just to that subject. Okay, I seem to have run into some kind of cooking channel. Okay. Okay, I'm going to scroll down till we get to, hey Kenny. I'm going to scroll down until I get your answers. Right, let's see. Put in how many points are we going to get, okay? Lulu thinks 20 points. Okay, 20 points of an available 30. If we do, Lou, that means Moyes has been sacked. And fucking someone amazing has come in. 4 out of 30. Woo! 4 out of 30. Let me guess. 4. Win at home against Southampton and a point at home against Everton. Is that what you were thinking? It's real. We brought Moyes in initially to get us out of relegation zone. He's putting us right back there now. Yeah, we're back to square one. So Paul thinks 1. Oh, geez, Paul. I don't think we'll not be that bad. I don't think. All right, Mandy. Here we go. Mandy's got it. Wolves. She thinks we'll get a point. We'll beat Everton. Newcastle lose, Chelsea draw, Spurs lose, Forest win, Brighton lose, Villa win, City lose, Saints win. So, okay, let me top these up if I can. So 3, 6, 9, 10, 13, 14 points out of 30. 14 points out of 30. Okay. I think 6. John thinks 9. Usual is going with 10 points out of 30. Neil thinks 4 at best out of 30. Oh, yeah, Mandy confirming the 14. Okay. Bees Knees says 9 is possible. 6. These low points don't surprise me. Not even a little bit. I mean, the way we're playing is just horrendous. AT says 11. Sorry, no, bed. Some of you have bedsit radio. 11. Surreal frame, a very generous 11. Our analysis thinks 7. 6 from 30. English Yardy 10. John, if we can beat Forest Villa and Southampton at home, then we deserve to go. If we can't beat Forest Villa and Southampton at home, then we deserve to go down. And we will. Here's Lou. After these games, we'll be on 20 points if we're lucky. Yeah, when you think we've got to get, we've got to get over 40 points. I mean, 40 points is like maybe safe. Maybe. There's no guarantee 40. Generally 40 will get you there. But even if it is 40, we need to find still a lot of points. A lot of points. So we better our form better turn quick, because we might find ourselves in a position where we are going to have to finish the season seriously strong. Like, seriously strong. And under Moyes, you just don't see it happening. Even under a new manager, it might be too much. If we don't sort this out now and get him fucking gone. Irons now is actually 8. Draw Chelsea, draw Villa, beat Saints and Forest. And he says lose the rest. So 6 or 8 points, yeah. You think we will draw at Molineux and win against Everton? That could happen. You're saying so. That's 12. Okay. And he's asking, okay, yeah, fair question. What do I think? Okay, give me 1 minute, Mandy, and I'll address that. Tomorrow's Daily Mail is saying that the next 2 league games will decide what happens to Moyes. Yeah, keep hearing that. Keep hearing that. What if he gets? What if he gets 3 points? What if we lose at Molineux and he beats Everton? Does it reset the clock? Is it another 3 games or another 4 games? This is a fucking ridiculous way to run a club. It's a joke. 4 draws. Fair enough, Richard. Relegation answers. Yeah, it's hard to blame people, Mandy. We've played 18 already, 4 wins. That's relegation. It just is. And what we've seen since the restart wouldn't give you any confidence that things are just going to flip and go completely the other way. We're just going to start winning games. We've been crap. Still no win. 1 point from 9 since we resumed. I think 40 will be an offer at 34. Ooh, fuck me. We're playing with fire at 34. My cat's got the fucking zoomies again. Tommy, anything over 7 has nothing to do with form or to do with Twilight Zone. Yeah, I mean, look, until Moyes goes, I believe this is our life. Time through the elephant room, Euro Conference. We're not winning the conference or any other cup under David Moyes. We will get knocked out. So forget about winning the Conference League under Moyes. It ain't happening. And then listen, 9 is going to be squeaky bum time, may go down. 9 points from what? 9 points. We're on 15. That would be 24 points. Let's assume Saints are gone. Yeah, I think that Southampton are bang in trouble. They look absolutely horrendous. If Everton, Wolves, and Forest climb, what two teams always can get drawn into that zone? Not many. Possibly Leeds, Bournemouth, Forest could slip back in. Yeah, Forest, Bournemouth, Leeds could all, I don't know what their fixtures are, but they could slip back in, possibly. I'll tell you what, it's going to be fucking hairy. I'm telling you, our last like 5, 6 games, if Moyes is still manager, and the later we leave it, the more difficult it becomes for a new manager to get us out. Look, no room with Moyes. We'll see who walks out and who's taken away in the area. Moyes and Noble are very fond of each other. Very fond of each other. They probably snog. We're going down, mate. Moyes, to me, can't be trusted. Yeah, I believe we're going. Moyes will get us relegated. We need to get Paul McKinnon. I think they're footballers. Needs to hypnotise Moyes. Bournemouth and where have we gone wrong? Oh Christ, that's a whole other show, David. There is a lot to go through to pick the bones out of that. Except we're down, and if we escape, then all is good. Bournemouth are toast. They're extremely poor. Saints are bad. They'll go down. Then it's between us, Forest, Everton, Wolves. Potentially, yeah. Leeds could get drawn in. Bournemouth are toast. I don't know. They're treading water so far. We're halfway through the season, basically, and they're still treading water somehow. So let's not. I wouldn't say Bournemouth are 100% going down. I really don't. No, I think they probably will. I think you'll probably be correct. If I was to name my three, I would certainly say Southampton, and I would go for Bournemouth. I just wouldn't write them off. I think Leeds will be fine. Yeah, I think Leeds will probably be okay. Okay. Why can't some people it's their team, but not for opposite? Yeah, well, look, I said Southampton are banging trouble. Bournemouth will be in it right to the finish. I think Everton will be in the fight right to the finish. I think Leeds will be hovering around there right to the finish. I think Forest will be hovering around there right to the finish. We will be hovering around there right to the finish unless we fucking pull the trigger on Moyes quick. Minus 21 goal difference they've got on a bad run, and even we beat them. This is minus 21 is it Southampton? I don't know who's got a minus 21. I think it's Southampton, right? Forest actually have a decent squad. They do have a decent squad, Forest. I think Forest will stay up. I really do. My prediction: Bournemouth 20th, 19th, Forest 18th. I think Forest will survive. I think they've got enough about them. I really do. I think Everton are really, really in trouble. I think we are really, really in trouble. Yeah, and I think Leeds could get dragged in there again. I really do. Because in the first are completely new squad they're playing for. They are. They've got decent. They've got really decent players. Short notice, would you bring in Tommy? And you cannot say Bielsa. I can't say Bielsa. I'm going to obviously try and be realistic. Someone we actually, I really believe we could get. Roberto Mancini. He's the Italy manager. He'd jump at the chance, I think, to come back to the Premier League and to be in a full-time job, managing week in, week out. Yeah, go ahead. Mancini, I think, is very gettable. I think he would take the job. Injuries may determine who goes down. One of Leeds, Everton, or West Ham. You know what? I suspect you might be right, John. I think one of those three will go. I really do. I think one of those three will go. I think Forest are going to be all right. I think they've got enough about them. They look better than us. They don't have better players, but they've got a decent squad there and a deep squad. And yeah, I think somebody bigger could go, and it could very well be one of those three. I think one of us is going to go. At the moment, it could be any of the three. I do think Bournemouth and Southampton will go. Leicester, yeah, look, Leicester are obviously not playing well. They're in a real slump. But I think they'll do enough. I think they'll do enough to survive. But they'll still have, some squeaky bum time. Okay, I promised Mandy before I go, so don't want her calling me a liar or saying I'll let her down. Do you mind, Kenny? Kick your ass, Kenny. Okay, so we've got Wolves away. Wolves away. They still have a new manager. Played really well against Villa. I'll tell you what. It's hard to say that the Wolves one's kind of tough. I think we could get something there. They're good technical side, Wolves, but they're still a bit. They still lack a bit of bottle, don't they? They're still like fragile. They're made of glass a little bit, Wolves. I'm going to say we get a point at Wolves. Okay, I'm going to say we get a point. I'm going to say we beat Everton at home. They're still banging trouble, Everton, and while they have shown a bit of improvement, I think that's a game. Even though we were playing a game, I think we can nick. I could be wrong on any of these, by the way. We could get turned over at Wolves, and we could be held at home by Everton. You just don't know at the moment. But I'll try and be a little bit positive because Wolves again are down there. They're in there for a reason. So I think, yeah, okay, 4 points from those two. Newcastle away, we lose. Chelsea at home. Potter's still in charge. Potter is still in charge at that point. Chelsea aren't looking that clever. I'm going to go 1 point. I'm going to go 1 point at home to Chelsea. I think there's a possibility. They're a bit fractured at the moment. They've got no real fluidity to their play. Chelsea at the moment. They're not cohesive. It might come, and maybe it'll come before we can play them. I don't know, but I'm going to say we can hold them to a point. I think I'm talking about now. We've got Aguerd and Zuma, hopefully, like beside each other, fully fit. Our injuries are really clearing up now. So that's 5 points. Away to Tottenham. Away to Tottenham. I can't say it. I'm not going to say we get beat by Tottenham even away. Fuck Tottenham. I hate them. I'm not even saying the words lose to Tottenham. Point against Tottenham. Because they can be shit too, by the way. They're under Conte, they blow hot and cold. I know they had a good win midweek against Palace, but Tottenham are capable of being very ordinary on their day as well. And of the kind of Sky Sports 6, Tottenham tends to be the team that we do the best against. That's 6 points. Forest at home, a much needed win. Forest at home, much needed win. That's 9 points. Brighton away, we lose. Brighton away, we lose. Villa home, point. Villa are improving. I like the way Emery's got them playing, and if he continues on that trend, by the time we play them, they should be very decent side. That's 10 points. Man City away, we lose. And Southampton at home, I think we win. I think they're going to be in the mud all season. I don't see them coming to our place and getting anything. So that's 13 points out of 30. So, added, what have we got now? 15. So that would put us, after those games, that 13 points would put us on 28. Even, Kenny, you're so bold. 13 points. That will put us on 28, right? So even at that, we're still banging trouble. On 28 points, we're in trouble. Like I said, that Southampton game is on the 1st of April. We're going to have to finish strongly. Ow, Kenny! Stop biting me. I'll bring you to the pound tomorrow. Shit. I'm not kidding. Look at this little shit. Get off me, Kenny. I'll kill you, Kenny. I'll kill you. He doesn't care. He doesn't believe me. Go away. Bite someone else. Ow! Damn you, Kenny. Wow. Kenny doesn't go easy on me either. Like, he'd be drawing blood and shit. Okay, so that's it. 13 points. Which is, a lot more than some of you have put in. I'm trying to be somewhat positive, not saying, we're going to lose everything. 13 points from those games, I don't think is a terrible prediction, potentially. We could pick up points along the way. Probably will pick up some points along the way. I just don't think it would be enough to pull us clear of relegation trouble. We would still have to. I can't remember off the top of my head the games that are left after that. But obviously we're starting to run out, and at that point, and we'd have to finish very strongly. Let me see now. What's that, Peter? Your cat thinks it's a horse doing shows. That cat's crazy. Like he climbs like up to the very top of the curtains, like right up to the top. He's like way up by the ceiling. And when he gets to zoomies, he just goes like full retard. Completely different story. I'm going to start bringing out some West Ham content on my channel. Any tips, Tommy? Any tips on content? Are you on Twitter, Orange Analysis? If you are, just DM me. If you know where I am on Twitter, it's at Tomster, TOMSTER 36. You'll find me on it. Just DM me on Twitter. We'll have a chat. Chelsea are not going gun ho. The right manager and we're a quality team. Yeah, well, we've got, like, with everybody fit, the first 11 that we can put on the pitch is very, very good. Very good. Top 10 team, 100%. 100% a top 10 team. Can't see Moyes change. No, Moyes is Moyes. He won't change. Board have to sack him. That's why it's on the board now. It's all the board's fault from here on out. They should have sacked him. They didn't. Their fault now. I wonder if the board going to wait for Lamps. Oh, fuck off. Christ almighty. Please, no, Surreal. Don't even say the word. 13, tell me 1 point off mine. Yeah, 1 point of yours, Mandy. To be honest, I don't think we'll be far off, Mandy. I don't think we've been overly pessimistic or stupidly optimistic. Then those next 10 games, 13 points is possible. It really is. Now, look, it could go worse than that. That's possible too. Or we could hit some bizarre spurt of form and get more. You never know with the Premier League, but I'm pessimistic when it comes to Moyes. If Moyes is in charge, I think that's something like that. It might go. We'll pick up something along the lines of those kinds of points, realistically. That's real. We're getting Deutsche if Moyes goes. That's entirely possible. If you offer me the swap tomorrow, I'm taking it though. Not that Deutsche is anywhere near the top of my list, but Jesus Christ, I mean, this is really bad, guys. Only difference was I had us to beat Villa. Yeah, we could beat Villa at home. We could. Yeah, it could be spot on with there, Mandy. I just kind of like the work Emery's doing there. And I think by the time we play them, it's in another few games. He might really have them playing really well. They might be, I suspect they'll be in really good form. Kind of tough to beat at that point. 7 at most with Moyes. Kenny wants your attention. Yep. He always wants my bloody attention when he wants to fight. Will I submit my football manager resume? Do, why not? Don't forget we could pick up injuries in both league and European games. Well, yeah, look, injuries are hard to predict. You just don't know what's gonna happen with injuries. And if we get them 13 points, what's your position possibly would be in the league? We'd still be fighting relegation. We'd still be in trouble. It's hard to know. We don't know what other teams are going to do down around us. We could be in the relegation zone. Very possibly. Very possibly. And if we're not, we're only on the outskirts. Can you send a copy of this to the board so they realize we're in big trouble? I could try, but don't think they'll do any good, frankly. We'll be right up to the end. Yeah, we're in a... Listen, forget what Rice says. Forget what Moyes says. We're in a relegation battle. End of story. I'm being super pessimistic, then draws. I'm being super pessimistic, then draws against Wolves, Everton, Villa, Forest, and beat Saints and lose the rest, giving us 7 points. Anything's possible. Anything is possible. It could be awful. It could be awful. That's the fear. If that happens, we're fucked. That right there, that happens, we are relegated. End of story. We're done. Our goose is cooked. 13 points, unlucky for some. 7 points only. Oh yeah, 100%. 7 points. We're done. We're gone. I'm assuming that with the World Cup injuries and new players, second half should be much better. In theory, Mandy. In theory. Let's see. Energy is the same for every team, not just West Ham. Yeah, there's other teams in bad form. There's other teams that are in trouble. We're just one of them, and 3 of them have got to go. So 13 is essential minimum. Oh, Jesus Christ, Kenny! Did he break my cup? No, it's just fine. He's a terror. Listen, even if we get 13 points from those 10 games, we're bang in trouble. 13 points from the next 10 games, we're bang in trouble. That's going to have us at running at roughly a point per game. That would be roughly a point per game that we're running at over the course of the season. That's relegation. Very likely that's relegation. After this game, we still have to play the likes of Man U, Liverpool, Newcastle again, Palace, Leicester, Leeds. Yeah, we're bang in trouble. The positives that fans of Liverpool are saying the same thing. Yeah, they're going to be in the fight with us. They're going to be in the fight with us. And Fulham. Nope. Fulham aren't going to be in a relegation fight, in my opinion. I think they're going to be relatively comfortable. His body language is in strikes of someone who can't wait to get out. No, I think he's actually deluded, David. Who's that now? Oh, we're talking about a player? Sorry, I'm missing who we're talking about there. I had Moyes in my head, but you might be thinking of someone else. Who's the three you actually think will go down? Southampton will go. I think Bournemouth will go. Southampton, Bournemouth. See, it's hard to say. You don't know who the manager is going to be. Like, Lampard's going to get sacked. I think Moyes is going to get sacked. It just depends who sacks who when, and who do they replace them with. It's very hard to tell, Laurie, who's going to go. But I do think Southampton have just hired a new manager, and I don't think it's going to do them any good. I don't think he's going to get it done. So I think they're fucked. I think Bournemouth will stick with their manager right through. So they're going to go. After that, it's difficult to say. I don't know if Jesse Marsh is going to get sacked. He could go if they start slipping back the wrong way again, into that relegation zone. He'll go. It's so hard to tell who the third team could be. It could be us. It really could. It could be Everton. It could be Leeds. It's Forest could get sucked back down. They might go on a bad run. It could be Forest who drop back in there. I couldn't say who the third one is, to be completely honest. Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, it's going to be very, very tough. What's this, Mandy? Kenny is fun. He should. Well, Kenny's having fun. I'm not having fun because I'm getting shredded, and he's knocking over my cup, and my vape, and wrecking my curtains. He's a little shit. So, but he's lucky. He's cute. Very lucky. He's cute. Right. Howdy, been a great show, Tommy. I have to say goodnight. Boxing training early morning. Come on, yours. Moyes out. Yeah, listen. Thanks very much, Audi. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully you can join us again next week. And I'm sure we'll have plenty more to discuss. But cheers for joining, and get a good night's sleep and enjoy your boxing training. I think that's a good note for us all to bow out. It's 25 past 12 now. I'm sure you all want to go to bed. Listen, thank you all in the chat. I've really enjoyed having this conversation with you all. It has been interesting, particularly, the projecting forward, like what may happen with the fixtures we've got. And I think it kind of really brought home to me with the fixtures, this next 10 fixtures, that if Moyes is in charge for those 10 games, I really, really believe we're bang in trouble. We're really, really bang in trouble if Moyes is in charge of those 10 games. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, geez, I've been on for like 2 hours and 25 minutes now at this point, and I didn't expect that. I was thinking I'll just come on for an hour because I'm on my own. I might struggle a little bit, like, to keep it going on my own. But thanks to you guys who are fucking awesome. You've kept me going with your talking points and with your comments and questions. So I really appreciate it. Good night, AT. Everything. Good night, Peter. It's flown by. It's been fun. Cheers for joining, mate. Mandy, thank you, my love. Awesome. Tommy, come on your wines. Yeah, come on your wines. Thanks for joining as always, Mandy. You're a stalwart. See you, Peter. And English. This pad is mine as well. Night to English Yardy. Look after yourself, bud. Paul Evans. Appreciate you, man. It's all about the next 2 league games. Yeah, if we win both, things will look a bit rosier. But if we're bang in trouble if we don't. You're on your own. You have Kenny. Yeah. Aaron's analysis. Cheers, mate. Like I said, find me on Twitter. Drop me a DM, and we can have a chat or something. And so good night from me, and good night from Kenny, the little shit. And This is a fucking asshole, I swear. He's doing it on purpose. I fucking swear to God, I'm going to kill him. Right. Cheers to you all. Thank you all very much. I'm going to say goodnight. Look, I hope we go strong tomorrow. I hope Moyes goes for it. Peter, yes. Sorry, Peter. No H tonight. She was busy. Try to get her on for you next week. All right. I'll tell her you were disappointed. So look, let's hope Moyes goes for it tomorrow and we get a much needed win. Try and lift our spirits a little bit before we head into that next league game at Wolves. But until then, thank you all so much for joining. Really enjoyed it. Please join me again next Friday. Love having your company. You guys keep me going. And until then,